Welcome everybody to the 2025 Virtual Horse Show. This is our third annual horse show hosted by the European Brabant Registry of America, and we're so thankful for everybody who took the time to participate. And we are excited to have you all joining us today for the virtual watch party. We are joined by none other than Laura Wiencek, and she has graciously volunteered her time to watch our trail classes that we've submitted and give us her critical expertise and scored us probably more graciously on my part anyway than I deserve. But I had the luxury of watching all of the videos come in, and you guys did absolutely fantastic. Again, I'm not as critical eye as Laura will be, but I'm just so grateful to have the opportunity to see the wonderful bonds that you have with your horses, and it was really exciting. Laura, thank you so much for joining us. Not only all the time that you spent ahead of today getting everything ready and getting everything scored, but joining us today and giving us your feedback. So I'm gonna be the one doing the next slide thing. So you let me know how quickly you want to move and what kind of feedback you want to give. Laura?
I didn't even go down through the slide, Stace. Do you have the placings or
At the very end, I have your
at the very
scores
end?
plugged
Okay.
in. Yeah. So,
Um, Say like in the adult in-hand trail class, um, everybody really did amazing. And that's like next year, if you give me the honor of being the judge again, I think we're going to go with the chap scoring because it was very hard to judge this. I mean, everybody did wonderful. I don't think we had any problems. I think one person, I believe, went the wrong way on the cone. But other than that, I love watching the Brabants, and I've had the experience with them, with Rebecca and Dahan, and I'm bummed that of course Megan wasn't able to be on, because and hopefully she'll get to watch this because I love Opal. Um, you know, all the King's horses, they have amazing Brabants, Gypsy Vanners. And if you get the opportunity, Rebecca and Dahan, they're hands on with these babies. They're bringing them here to our trail park. They're putting them across the obstacles. And I just can't say enough about them and about all the Brabants that I saw here. Very nice turnout for all of them. The obstacles, you guys all did with what you had, and I think that's wonderful too. Um, and just to kind of, it's kind of going a little bit slow for me. I don't, there it goes. But using the obstacles that you have, that's wonderful. As long as they're safe, as long as there's something that, say, goodness, I don't think I've ever seen a Brabant get too excited. But as long as you're not going to get hurt on the obstacles that you're using, I think it's wonderful. And this is also not just for the trail challenge that we're doing today, but for your horses in general, just to get the experience out there and to kind of get them working correctly. But I don't know who all's on for adult in hand. If anybody wants us to kind of go through their pattern, if
I've got
anybody,
I've got
go ahead.
entry
I'm sorry.
number two, who's the first up in this category. That's Low Country Acres Opal, handled by Megan Ditmore. I have that playing right now, and just so she could have that feedback
And
later.
yeah, I mean, Megan's really confident walking her. This was kind of when you guys are going into your obstacles, I judge on your entrance. You want to be centered going into your obstacle. You want to go into your obstacle kind of what I would call level. You don't want to have your hand high in the air, or have your hand down low, trying to force the horse to look at the obstacle. It's kind of a partnership. So you want to do what's going to be confident for your horse. If your horse wants to put its head down, let him put its head down. If the horse wants to hunt the obstacle, if it wants to kind of go and sniff it a little bit, as long as you're not very hesitant, I'm not going to give you a negative score. As long as you're not.
Again, this is why you shouldn't do live streaming Zoom videos on a Zoom call, is because it doesn't
Yeah, it's kind of a little hesitant, but it kind of gave you a good idea. I mean,
live
I'm
video
sorry.
cast. It's a different mechanism.
Yeah, more efficient, I would think.
Do we have a hot mic? Or
Yeah.
Oh, this will be the troll pattern.
You can stream live on YouTube or
Galena,
other platforms, and it just looks
she,
better.
Oh,
all right, sorry. I don't think they realized they had a hot mic on.
It's okay. I'm looking at, let's see.
This is
I'm trying to see who that's.
Agnes
Ag
and Megan. Yep.
and Megan. Okay, let's see. Stacy, let's jump to you on number 5.
Okay,
That way we don't have to go through the ones that
that's fine.
Megan can reach out to me, and as she's hearing this, if she wants to reach out to me like on Facebook Messenger or whatever, she's more than welcome to, and if she has any questions about her rides.
Sure. So this is myself and my stud, Earl.
Earl. Okay, Victor. Okay, so what's hard too, Stacy? I'm gonna pick on you.
Okay, perfect.
So
Go for it.
well, I figure it's easier to pick on you because you're used to me picking on you when we're doing these. The big thing is, and it's hard, I know, if you don't have somebody to video, it's hard to hear the ticks when it's that far away.
Right.
And it's kind of hard to get whether you're centered. So, bear with me if you feel you were more centered and I couldn't see it, or if maybe there was a tick and I didn't hear it. It's kind of hard on these live feed, or I'm sorry, on these recordings when it's virtual to make sure. Now here, Stacy, I would have had you be more centered.
Okay.
So I would have had you come in more like where he ended up there. That's about where you want to be, is right there in the middle.
Understood. Okay.
So on that, on the end, I think I gave you a 1, you had 1 tick and you kind of came in a little bit off centered going into that and turning. So it kind of makes it hard when you're trying to turn that horse straight and have a nice kind of rollback on that turn, because you're kind of already up against the wall per se on the
Right.
side of your obstacle.
All right. I'm sure I'll have to try and figure out how to do better next time so you can still hear the audio. I know we even had some submissions that there weren't any audio that got submitted with it, so I'm sure that made it difficult. I guess we'll have to.
All I did was kind of watch it and try to see if they rolled, or tried to see if I could see a hoof ticking on it. And
Sure, yeah.
yeah, let's beat up Rebecca.
Okay, Rebecca, are you there? Are you on and ready?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, Melly. Oh, good gracious.
Okay, Melly.
As hard as you'd like, Laura.
Bill's been here. I don't think you've had her here yet.
I think when she was a tiny little lady, but not lately.
So
And it
she
kinda
wasn't feeling the trot at all.
No, she was not.
So, and there, it was kind of hard. I kind of had to watch and kind of see that, she kind of ticked it and kind of rolled it. And the big thing with these, and I mean, and Rebecca, you want to be more beside her than dragging her. If she's not going to do it, that's fine. Let's just kind of keep our partnership and just kind of be beside her. And
Okay,
and I
good
know
to know.
you guys have been busy with life and everything, and I know personally that with you and Dahan that you guys have a lot going on and more than 3 of them to work with. So. But had a very, very nice back. And I like how you guys are working these horses, and kind of the majority when you're doing your obstacles, you're kind of staying beside them. You're not dragging them over the obstacle if they're not feeling it, and you're kind of working with what you have. And I can't say enough, and it's not saying anything against the other horses that are in here, but Rebecca and Dahan do an amazing job with these horses. And a little bit more on the what was I going to say on the on your circle, Rebecca? I would have it wasn't more along the lines of kind of like a turnaround. It was kind of like you just kind of walked the outside of the circle. So I gotten in a little bit more centered on her when she's walking into the obstacle, and kind of set her back a little bit on her haunches to kind of get her to turn there a little bit more.
Okay.
And I loved watching Opal, by the way.
Yeah.
She looked really good. No, is that your Opal?
Oh,
One of your old horses?
Opal is actually one of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, okay. Stacy, it was last year, right? Opal was
Yes.
last year.
Yeah,
Okay,
I handled her
so.
last year. That's right. Yep.
Got you. I thought so. I knew it was one of the ones from last year, and it's nice to see the improvements in them too.
Yeah, she's getting big. So next up is going to be entry number 12, which is also Rebecca with Yenka.
And I just love how quiet, all the horses were, how attentive they were. They were all paying attention. They were all kind of with, paying attention to their handler, working with their handler. You guys are great. Every single one of you were wonderful with just working with them. And I know it's kind of hard in here, but Jenka had a really, really nice smooth trot. Rebecca stayed beside her, which I liked. The halt was just spot on. Little crooked on the back, but it was fluid. And this is when I was talking about when you're going to go over the tarp. You watch Jenka look, kind of drop her head, check the tarp out, and then just kind of keep walking and being fluid. And if you have a horse that's kind of a little hesitant and a little inattentive or not feeling the obstacle, just kind of and that's not the case with Jenka, but just kind of slow your walk down a little bit. Give that horse the opportunity.
Laura, I see we have a question on the chat asking if the square needs to be this size or if it could be bigger. So maybe you could weigh in on that at some point too.
I like this size. If you're wanting to start out working with a bigger square, absolutely positively. If your horse isn't just really kind of feeling it, and these guys are bigger. We joke and Rebecca, you've been here, and I can't remember if you've been here when the Clydesdales have been here, but we've got the Clydesdales going over our balance beams. So it's just a matter of just kind of starting, building that horse up to succeed. You don't want to go into a square that's 3x3 and try to turn them around in it, especially if it's a Brabant or a draft type horse. So yeah, start with the bigger square, kind of work with your horse, kind of set him back on his haunches, even if you have to back them up a step or two to kind of get them back on their haunches so they can kind of do that roll back a little bit. I mean, you guys aren't going to get a reining horse rollback. It's something where when we're judging, we consider what the breed is. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, I think so. That would be great. He's asked if there's a standard size. I think those poles were, gosh, either 6 or 8 foot long. They're just standard
Yeah.
PVC.
Yeah.
Mine were
and I
mine
think
were
everybody
8
else.
foot and I left a
I was
gap.
going to say, and like an 8-foot post.
Yeah.
And Lance, yeah, I would just say when you're working with your horse, and I think you're on here, I believe. When you're working with them, and I'm trying to see where is yours. Let me see. I'm looking through here to see what number you were. I didn't see it. Lance, what?
I don't think Lance had a submission this year. I
Oh,
think he
okay.
participated
So,
last year.
okay, so just to kind of look at this one, and she was kind of minus her fourth pole for this submission. Let's see, what number was
So this
she?
is entry number 15, AKH Starry Night Indigo, handled by Olga Pushkareva.
There it is. So Ogo did really good. And look how tight she's going on these poles. And, these guys are a little bit harder to kind of get brought in closer, for lack of a better word, and get their stride shortened up a little bit. And she did a really good job on that. The only thing I would say is, and Stacy, you and I kind of always talk about this, make sure you have those 4 poles, because it's hard for me to judge on a tick or anything. It's not fair to the other competitors if I'm sitting here judging because you're walking in on an empty, you don't have a pole there and you're start on it. And if you don't have the extra poles, then just kind of maybe knowing that you have to step over that front pole, maybe take that back pole, bring it to the front, and take a lead rope or I don't know, any kind of rope or anything on that backside, or a couple cones on that backside if it's not something you're stepping over, just so that we can see that that you've got the trail course set up correctly. And so Stacy knows that, we've got the correct trail pattern and the correct obstacle course.
That's a good tip, Laura. Thank you for that.
Because sometimes it's hard. I mean, there's times where we're hauling 19 poles places to do these outdoor trail parks. So,
Right.
sometimes you got to work with what you have, but just kind of, especially if it's if you're doing an online trail course and your pattern person that designs your patterns shows you going over a pole, you definitely want to make sure you've got that pole there.
Got it. Olga, do you have any questions for Laura on Indy's run?
No, we obviously missed the poll. I actually, it's my bad. I didn't know it was there. It was supposed to be a square box, so it's my misunderstanding of the instructions.
Got it.
I think the problem is we set up the driven course and we were trying to kind of use it for in hand as well, and we just forgot to adjust that part.
Gotcha. And I think maybe, and like I said, if Stacy and Rebecca will do me the honor of next year, the girls and I kind of get together and do maybe the pattern and us talking through it and what our list of obstacles are going to be and what you need per se. If that, I don't know if that would help for people that aren't close or aren't familiar with it, Stacy, if we do something like that,
Yeah, that'd
where
be
we
great.
say we need 4 poles, and that's my fault too. I mean, I guess we should have looked into that a little bit more and say, we want 4 poles for the box and we want the box squared. So as this is getting bigger, because we do have more entries in the trail portion of it than we had last year. So
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of participation, so I'm definitely open and flexible. Whatever's going to set everybody up for success, and of course, make it easier for you to judge would be awesome. So we've got entry number 18, which is Melissa handling Uhtred.
and I like nice and smooth through the cones. I like how she's working through them, and she's got them fairly close together. But I think this is the one that you entered on the wrong side of the cone, I believe. On the front of it. It's kind of hard to see, but I think she had to enter on the other side. So I believe when she started, she entered on the wrong side of the cone. I know with the hesitations, it's kind of hard to see it. And then just kind of going into that tarp, Melissa, when you were kind of going through that tarp, you want to kind of be a little bit more squared and going into your square there. See how you're kind of on the edge. But if you look at her, she's got now is it Uhtred? Turned around
That's how I
nice.
say it.
Yeah,
Melissa, how
Uhtred.
do you
Around nice.
Uhtred.
Uhtred. Just kind of, like I said, when you're doing that, just kind of set them back a little bit, and kind of square them up a little bit coming into it. And then just kind of, you can back them up a little bit. If you walk in there and you're squared in the middle and you can step forward a little bit and then kind of set them back on their haunches so you can kind of turn around and set them up for success. Melissa, do you have any questions? I don't know if Melissa's on or not.
No, I don't have any questions.
Gorgeous horse.
Thank you.
You guys have a good partnership.
Thank you.
Next up, we have entry number 23. It's, I think, Matthew with Pandora.
Hi, Matt. I think he's on here.
Pretty sure.
So when Matt's leading, I would say kind of get more beside Pandora, kind of, and I know I believe he's got a couple horses signed up. Kind of be a little bit more beside. You kind of got your hand pulling a little bit on them when you're working them, kind of get more beside him. And this, I believe, is a young one. I see this isn't all the King's horses one, but Pandora, I believe, is younger.
I think so.
So,
I think
little
Pandora might be 2 or 3.
Little excited and happy and enjoying it.
She
Maybe
could participate in our blooper reel.
Yes.
Have a few of those.
That's okay. But have your square a little bit more squared up. And then what you want to do, Matt, when you're turning, and of course it's not on the rules and it's not on our judges thing, but to make sure you're, let me look and see, but I don't believe Yeah, it does show that you want to turn to the right. So you kind of always want to turn your horse away from you, unless for some reason that judge asks you to turn your horse towards you, but you always kind of want to push him away and turn him to the right. And I believe I'm looking that the pattern did kind of show to kind of turn that horse to the right when you're doing it.
Matt, do you have any questions for Laura on your entry with Pandora?
Hi, this is Matt's wife, Nicole. He's just boarding a flight.
Oh, got it. Okay.
We don't have any questions.
Got it. Okay. We have entry number 24. This is Matt with Bia. I think that's how we say her name. Is that right, Nicole?
Correct, Bia.
Okay.
So Nicole, you just need to go beat him and make him walk with his horse. Now, are these all new partnerships? Nicole?
New partnerships. I mean, this is our first time participating in this. Bia is about 18 months oldish.
Okay.
20 months, somewhere around there.
Gotcha. So what I would tell Matt, and this is where you get to be the wife and be like, Matt, this is what you need to do. So what he wants to do is just kind of be beside her more, kind of have that partnership and kind of lead her closer than what he is. I like that he's giving her the opportunity, but it's kind of just like he's walking in a way and it's almost like a disconnect, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But I love how quiet they're doing, and he's just kind of going with the flow. How come you don't have one in this?
I'm not much of a camera person.
You're the camera lady. You did an amazing job with the camera work. So kind of like what Lance was saying, maybe when you start out having the poles far apart is a good thing, and then kind of bring them in. So with Bia and Pandora, as small as they are, you could probably have your box there a little bit closer, and then just kind of work on pushing them away from you and making that turn to the right instead of towards you to the left.
I think this is Matt's last entry with Aries.
And he was getting hotter, so he doesn't have his hat on now. And if I'm correct, Rebecca, Aries has been here, hasn't? I think.
I don't think he was.
I'm trying to remember.
You probably are thinking of his sister, Pinecone. She's been there. And they look like twins.
Yes. I was going to say
we saw him as a weanling, so I don't think he would have come out.
No, then. But nice and quiet. I like how he's turned. I love how he's turned and facing the horse to back up. Nice back up, nice and straight. I really like that.
I agree. Great job on the recording, Nicole. You did a great job.
She was awesome. And this is what makes it nice. She's kind of following along. And I know it's hard when you're videoing yourself, but it's always great when you can get somebody else because it's showing your turnout better. You're able to Nicole did a great job actually videoing. I'd like to have her with me at most of our stuff we do. That way I can see everything. And it's just kind of the same thing, kind of get Matt. I liked this. I really liked this. I liked how he kind of checked in with his horse, but then if he'd have turned her to the right, I'd have been a little happier. So, and just kind of work on stepping them over that pole rather than kind of taking him around the edge when he was coming into it. But I like how he kind of connected and really kind of talked to that horse when he was standing there in the box, and how quiet and soft. He's a great handler.
Oh, I guess he has one more. Sorry, I missed one. Perseus. Matt and Perseus.
See, now I know where all these nice looking young horses from all the King's horses went.
We have
Nicole
way
bought
too
them all.
many of them.
They're addicting, aren't they?
Yes.
And I mean, like I said, he just kind of needs to get closer to his horses, Nicole. So just kind of getting him to kind of slow down his walk, especially with the younger horses, with the babies.
Okay.
And kind of building that connection a little bit more. And he had a really nice trot. And I like how he's looking back. I mean, because these are babies. So you never know when you're gonna, even though they're so calm and quiet, you never know if one's going to decide to maybe put a hoof up. And I like how he's keeping an eye on them, connecting with them. Nice backup. Just kinds of need. He just kind of needs. Here he's a little better with kind of walking closer to Perseus and kind of being a little bit more connected. And then he kind of gets ahead again. So just kind of slowing his walk down, kind of being a little bit more with the horse. And Perseus was great, right through the center, walked right over those pole, no problem. And then all he just needed to kind of push away and turn to the right. And then, he needed to be a little bit closer to the left, but I like how, he was paying attention to how he was stepping out of that obstacle. The horse was.
All right. So we had a lot of numerical ties. I don't know how you wanted to break that up.
Yeah, we had the ground poles, so we'll have to kind of get with that and look and
Okay.
see for the tiebreakers. We did a couple of tiebreakers, and then next year we might just have to, because everybody was just, it was so close.
Yeah. So it was a great job by everybody, but the two highest scores were Megan and Rebecca with their horses. So good job.
So yeah, I'll get with you afterwards because you need to hand out ribbons.
Yes. Um, and now we're moving into the under saddle portion of the class. It's the same pattern. It's just riding instead of in hand. And there were only two entries in this one, Melissa and myself.
And that is a peachy butt.
Yeah, she's stacked for sure.
Leah has a peachy butt. Most women would die for that. But nice and smooth. You did really good. I liked how you kind of, you stayed walking. You walked right into the ground poles. That was great. Had a nice trot. Nice stop. See how squared up you were. That was perfect. I love that. Next year, you got to let me do bonus points. Very nice back. Staying centered, going over. And if the horse, say Stacy, if she wanted to drop her head down and look at it, as long as she's kind of keeping that forward motion, let her do it. If we were out on the trail, we want to do it. Other than that, a little bit more to the right, because I think in your map you show them going through the center. So I judged it as going through the center. Better, a little bit better coming out.
Okay. That's great feedback. Thank you for that.
And Leah's very fluid. I like how she just kind of flows through everything.
She's really the best. I love that horse. Okay, so now we have entry number 7. This is Melissa and her Addie.
So Melissa, is it Adagio? Vaunt. Oh boy, she's got to tell us how to say that.
Melissa, are you on?
I thought she was.
I don't think Melissa's on. I don't think this Melissa's on. We have the
Oh,
other
wrong Melissa. Oops, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Melissa with Uhtred is on.
Yeah.
Good.
Adagio von Seldenveld, I think is how you would say that.
Wow. That's the one thing I got to get used to is all these cool names. But she had a very, she had a nice trot, quiet, nice stop. I like she's a confident rider. She's riding right over, over everything and stayed centered on the top. On the top. I sound like I'm from New York. On the tarp. And when you guys are going from obstacle to obstacle, don't feel like you have to be right on top of it. You can make a little bit of that wider circle or wider angle to get around to that obstacle. And the only, the kind of thing is she turned the wrong way and she had one tick. And it's kind of hard to hear them on, like I said, on the online. If you watch our judges that judge our trail classes and Rebecca and Dahon can kind of vouch for this, or if you've been at a trail course where you've got a really good judge, they're walking around, they're following you and looking, and when it's online, that's kind of hard to do. So we do the best we can with judging it. So
Right. Well, there were two distinct scores on this one. So the placements are first, it would be Leia and myself, and then second place to Melissa and Addie. Close scoring, it looks like.
Oh yeah, gorgeous. You guys did great.
So now we're going in. So we offered a new portion for the trail class this year based on feedback from our member base. And there was definitely a need for harness work. And so we offered ground driving and hitch driving. Um, we got 4 entries in the ground driving class. First up is myself and my chunky monkey Leia.
Fun. I really liked this. Was definitely something new and something different. And I kind of resorted to talking to a friend of mine that actually does this at Retired Racehorse Project and competes in it to just kind of get an idea of, what should I be looking for, because it was something different and new to judge. We look at this stuff right now and there's 5 inches of snow on the ground. So I love watching these when it's sunny and 70 out. But you had a really nice trot on it. I know it's kind of hard to see, like the one gentleman was saying about maybe doing it through YouTube or something else different when we're doing the live feed, but had a nice stop, did a really nice job, taking Leah over the obstacles. I don't see a gaping mouth, so horsemanship wise, very nice handling. And then of course, in the ground driving, we kind of have to sort of remove that pole. We don't really want to have that pole there, so that we also showed in the map. So
Next up, we've got entry number 15. This is Olga and Indigo.
So Olga, you were a little kind of crooked going in there when you were starting. You were a little bit close to that right pole. I lost my sheet. Nice turn on it. Really like how you just kind of stepped right up into that snappy trot. Nice and straight on your back. And it was kind of hard to see. I watched it a couple of times, Olga, but I love how you do your ground driving and your handling. I know with Indigo, we don't see a gaping mouth. We don't see, like you're not yanking on her. You're nice and fluid.
He is pretty new to this, so he takes his time. Sometimes, like backing up, he needed a moment, but he's figuring it out. He's just really new to driving, so we still got a lot of work to do.
Gotcha. And I just, he was so quiet with it, had a really nice stop. He was a little bit crooked on his back, but he was still, like you said, he's backing up. Other than that, I thought, I was really impressed with him. It's fun to judge this. It's fun to watch you guys judge or watch you guys do it.
Well, we got Olga up again, Laura, with Aspen this time.
This is an AKH pony. Nice and straight. See the difference in that, Olga? So you kind of went into that nice and straight?
Yeah, this boy is a couple years older. He has a lot more experience.
And the big thing is, I don't know how far, like from where your camera is, how far back your arena is. You can, we don't start judging till you get a horse length away from that obstacle. Very nice trot. So, you can be back there farther to kind of start them straighter, especially with the ground driving, because you are farther behind them. So you can start your first obstacle there back a little bit so that you can kind of set yourself up for success.
Yeah, I think I had a problem recording last year because it was hard to see me further back. So I tried to set this up as compact as I could so I could capture everything.
Yep, it was perfect. But I would say starting out, you and your horse can start back farther and then come into view and stop so you have them centered up a little bit more than you. And then you have Aspen.
We're following 19. Up with Louisa. Louisa. Yep. And Olga.
Louisa. Okay, so Olga, how do we say that? Van Holten.
We call her Toffee.
Smart. But little crooked going into your poles, off center, kind of off to the left. but really nice trots in them. I like how you're kind of right behind her. And this is a situation when you're doing the ground driving, of course, you can't be up beside their head, but you kind of stayed right with her, and I like that. Or right with Toffee. Nice and quiet. Now is Toffee a little bit older?
She's 4, but she is her skill
Oh.
level is probably about the same as Indigo right now with 3. So we're still learning a lot of stuff with her.
She seems like an old soul though. You can kind of see her checking in with you. She's like, "What are we doing? What's up?" Nice
Yeah, I
and
think
centered
she's
going
really
in.
good.
Yeah,
She's gonna turn out to be a very nice pony.
very quiet. I like her. So I would have maybe when you did that halt, kind of square, especially, if you're ground driving, kind of square her up a little bit. When you do that halt, she was a little bit crooked on her halt there. So I would have maybe stepped her back a second and squared her up a little bit more on it. Let's see. Other than that, I thought she was really smooth.
So the scoring shook out where there weren't any ties in this go round either. So we've got myself and Leia in first place. Second is Aspen and Olga, of course, wonderful team. And third place is Louisa and Olga. And of course, young Indy and Olga wrap up with number 4.
Before we move on to picking on Rebecca and Dahan, Olga, really, really loved watching you. I really did. With all 3 of your horses, it didn't matter the level of experience with your horse. You didn't change. You stayed quiet. You worked with them confidently, calmly. And I really like how you present yourself and how you present your horsemanship. And if we could do bonus points, I would definitely do that. And the ground driving. And I mean, Stacy, you were too, but just watching Olga all 3 times, it was really refreshing to watch somebody ground drive their horse quietly, softly, and you didn't change no matter which horse it was. You stayed the same. You stayed nice and quiet, worked with them softly, and I really, really like that.
Thank you for the feedback. We teach them to drive at home, and these are not my first horses that we go through this process with, so we kind of have a routine, and I guess that shows.
Absolutely. Not a doubt.
So the hitched obstacle course is the same as the ground driving, but you just got your horse hitched to a vehicle. And the 2 participants happen to be a husband and wife duo team. So it's going to be the battle of the husband and wife on this go round, starting out with Dahan.
Okay, let's just remember he spends a lot of time driving horses, okay?
Okay, but seriously, it was hard. I had to watch it a couple times. I really did. And we know Dahan, and I love you, D. You know that. You're my man. He just goes with the flow. But yeah, for people that don't know, Dahan and Rebecca, Dahan also has a logging business. So all these horses are, he works with them and he drives them and poor Jenka.
Yeah, I had driven her quite a while. We've been quite busy this year.
So probably the only thing, Dahan, do you talk to her? Are you like saying whoa or gee or ha or anything like that? Or
Yeah, I mean, in the woods, just driving vocally really most of it with, I mean, cues, but they know my voice pretty well.
so Rebecca had to cheat and steal your pony.
They know people help. Like I've had interns the last 4 years in a row, and I have maybe 1 or 2 more coming this year. It is uncanny how horses know voice, not only voice, but cues and the slightest differences. I'm like, ah, they're great, this, and then this newbie that knows nothing really gets on them, and I'm like, what? You're not listening to them. What's your problem, ponies? And it's uncanny how, horses pick up just a subtle difference and behave completely different.
Absolutely. I think Jenka knows when Rebecca's behind him too.
She's a good girl. She's a gem.
I mean, she's been here. Jenka's been here.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, a lot. She
So
was
yeah,
she
she's been over here, and you know, you just kind of see the difference. And if you, I watched it a couple of times just because number one, I enjoy watching, you know, watching you guys. And Jenka is quieter with Rebecca. She's a little
That
bit more
Yeah, and
quicker.
some of that comes from logging. You have to pull the heavy logs out. So sometimes you've got to get on them a little harder so that they will actually pull out the heavy log. So I try not to let them be complete deadheads because you actually need that fire to get the log out. So she's going to be hotter with me behind her.
I like how she did quiet down for Rebecca though. Nice and square. I mean, I loved doing the driving. I'm hoping to see more doing the in-hand driving and the actual carriage driving because it was fun to watch. I mean, I liked watching it, and you know, I personally know Jenka because she's been here. You know, I don't judge them when they're here. That's our senior judges that judge and our judges that are in training, but enjoyed judging her with both of you. And yeah, it's kind of cool to watch two different people drive the same horse and see the difference in the horse.
Well, looks like the hand took this class by a point, Rebecca. So,
it's okay. He can have it. He puts in the time.
Uh, well, yeah, and I think that makes a
That would
big
have been funny
difference.
if you won though.
That would have been funny. Yeah.
But I enjoyed judging everybody. It was great, and you know, liked watching all the horses working. And the big thing that I enjoy when Stacy and Rebecca first asked me to do this last year was I'm familiar with the Brabants, but you know, I'm familiar with what, you know, Dahan and Rebecca bring, and to see overall all of them, whether they're in all the King's horses or not, just the quietness to them, the softness, and the attentiveness. I mean, these guys aren't scared. They're doing it.
Laura, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much for taking this class on and judging it for us. Greatly appreciate your time and your expertise.
I thank you guys.